Hello everyone and welcome. Today we're going to talk about the important topic of creating a literature review for your research. Now you might have a topic now that you're interested in researching. It could be a business problem, a marketing strategy, or maybe a topic from academics that you're really interested in understanding more about. So the first thing that we do when we start a research process is a literature review. And basically what that review does is allow you to understand from what has already been researched out there in the world and create an analysis of your findings. This way, it helps you hone in on creating that perfect research question for you to start to investigate. What is a research? What is a literature review? A literature review is simply an analysis of the work that has been completed to date on your topic. And the literature review consists of 5 different steps. Now, the first step is used for us to understand what existing knowledge is already out there. And there's a few reasons why we do this. First of all, we don't want to duplicate efforts. Research can be time-consuming and expensive. And why wouldn't we want to learn from what other people have learned in the past? So that's one point. We want to understand what is going on or what has been studied in your topic area. And the other thing that's really important as a researcher is that we need to get credit to those who have researched prior to us. So that's one of the really important things about a literature review is let's not duplicate efforts. The one thing that we want to do as we move through the third step is identify a gap. So you may have a lot of really great information that you've collected on a topic, or maybe you've decided on your research question, and what we want to do is to fill any gaps in knowledge that you can't find through the analysis of what others have done before you. So we call this filling the gap to extend the knowledge of what has been done previously. And then so now that you've identified where the gaps are, then in part of the research, part of the literature review is to demonstrate that the research that you are going to be fulfilling will help fill that gap. And why is this important? It's important for a number of things. If you're an academic, you might be looking for funding or time to do your research. And you really need to gather that by showing that the information that you are going to attempt to glean is going to fill a gap in knowledge so that we can extend the knowledge of the topic that you're interested in further to help the community. The second thing is all of you business owners and marketers know that marketing research is very expensive. So in order for you to get the funding to support your business initiative or to support your marketing research, you really need to have a strong foundation of what is out there and how you are going to fill that gap in knowledge so that there is a meaningful return on your research investment so that at the end of the day, you as a marketer or as a business can make a great business decision based on what you've learned. And then finally, what it helps you do once you have that is to defend your case. This research is really important. So that's sort of the 5 reasons why the literature review is an important element in your research process. Creating a literature review might seem like a daunting task, but it doesn't have to be. There are truly only 5 simple steps that you need to take to conduct a literature review. And the first of those steps is to select or choose a research subject or topic. Now, this is really important because you want to ensure that the topic or the topic that you're choosing is something that is relevant to the business decision or marketing strategy that you are trying to accomplish. So let's take an example. As you know, I love branding. I am a marketing enthusiast. I have been a marketing executive for 30 years. I've worked for startup companies to Fortune 50, and one of the most important things for any marketer to understand how to do is marketing research. And so I have done a plethora of research on the topic of branding. Brand love and brand hate are 2 of the topics that I'm currently working on now as an academic, and they are so meaningful to businesses and marketing strategy as well. So if I were to choose a topic on branding, perhaps I would do something like brand dissatisfaction. Maybe you have a company that you're really truly in love with. It could be your own company. It could be a company that you aspire to work for someday, or somebody, or you're a shareholder, or you're just really darn interested in who they are and what they represent. So let's say that your beloved company is having some issues with some customers or maybe some public sentiment, and you want to study or create a research project related to brand dissatisfaction as it relates to that business challenge. So what you want to do, that is your topic of choice. What you want to do is to look at honing in specifically on what that topic is. So for our example, let's choose brand dissatisfaction as the topic we will choose for the search for our literature review. So secondly, once you've honed in on your topic and we have brand dissatisfaction, the next thing I want you to do is to look at databases and other resources that are available to you. Now, when I say databases, that could mean anything from doing a Google search through a search engine to an academic database such as google.scholar.com, which will really drive you to understanding what has been written in the literature, meaning who has done research in the past, what are their theories, what are their findings, and helping you understand potentially the landscape and how that might help you with your existing research, and perhaps filling the gap of what that research topic is. So when I'm talking about databases, there's a few things that I want you to think about. You can not only use academic databases, as I mentioned, google.scholar.com, it's free. And once you put in your keyword, brand dissatisfaction, you are going to see a number, hundreds and hundreds of research topics that have been, or papers that have been published on that particular topic. You may also want to look at databases that your school has available to you. Or if you are a business, look at trade organizations. If I'm a marketer and I'm looking at brand dissatisfaction, I'm definitely going to go to reputable organizations like the American Marketing Association or maybe a public relations association, and I'm going to see what they have available in terms of research. So that's another great place to start looking for your literature review. Now, don't ever forget a really important piece. If you are a business, go to your internal tool sets. You have customer relationship management systems, you have operating principles, you have your website, you have employees that you can speak to, and maybe they have some research that they've done in the past. So don't forget what's already under the hood, because the last thing we want to do is waste time and money on the great discipline of marketing research. So that's the second thing. You're going to start to search for information using your tools and your databases. The next thing that you're going to do, I want you to do, is select keywords. For those of you marketers out there, you know importance of keywords. Keywords drive search engine positioning. Keywords drive whether or not your website populates. Keywords will help you understand your audience. Keywords are essential in a literature search. So and the reason it is because we as researchers or as academics, we do the same positioning of the papers that we have published using various keywords. So what I mean by that is, let's go back to brand dissatisfaction. If I'm going into a database, I'm going to select those keywords that I think will bring me the closest results to brand dissatisfaction. So let's say, for example, I'm going to put in brand dissatisfaction as a keyword, as a search. I might also put in the name of the company, or I might put in if it's regional, United States, or maybe somewhere else in the globe. I may hone in on things like customer satisfaction or other keywords that are relevant to your research, because we want to make sure we get the most relevant piece of literature that is available to you. Because remember, what we want to do is to have an understanding of what has already been researched in the past. We want to give credit to those who have done that hard work for us, and we want to find what's missing so we can enhance our research to fill that gap that isn't already available to us today. Now, what I want you to do along with the keywords, along with what we've done in databases, and you're starting to get some information pulled up, we are going to read and analyze that information. Now, what I want you to note here is that's really important as you're going through and looking at the citations that you have, that the articles you're about ready to read. Make sure that they come from reputable sources. Now, I will tell you, I am a huge fan of pop culture. I love a good consumer poll. I'm a consumer poll junkie. I study consumer behavior. This stuff is fascinating to me. I am a huge fan of the BuzzFeed top 10 list. I read them all. I share them with my students. I share them with the businesses that I consult with. But at the end of the day, the BuzzFeed top 10 list probably isn't the most reputable source. Not because they don't have a good research firm or they're doing something unethical. It's a beautiful source of information, but it's not as rigorous and as theory-based as you will want to make a good business decision. So keep that in mind. Make sure your sources are reputable. Now, the next thing that you're going to do when you start to analyze the information, put together some sort of system, whether that's using RefWorks, which is a way to manage your sources, an app, or maybe you use an Excel spreadsheet or a Word document. Cite your source, where you found it, and write a little paragraph on the key nuggets. That way, as you start to sort through all of your literature, it's going to be easy for you to be able to reconnect and pull all the information together and truly figure out what you should research that hasn't been already done in the past. Or maybe you're going to take something that someone else researched. Maybe you're going to take their questionnaire or the scale that they've used in your research, and you're going to add something to it that is more relevant to your specific business problem. Or you might use that research tool and do it for the company that you're interested in understanding better. So that's the third thing. So once you have reviewed your findings, what you should really do is take all of that information and create yourself, whether it's one paragraph or one page, create a synopsis of what you've learned from the literature review. And remember to keep in mind that you need to cite those people who have done the research before you. Make sure that you cite it properly. And most importantly, make sure that you demonstrate to whoever is helping you fund this project that it's a worthy project and that you are going to be able to fill that gap or answer that research question so that you get your marketing research funding, whether it's from your company or whether you are a consultant looking for work to help somebody solve a problem, or if you are doing this as an academic assignment. So finally, I hope that this makes sense. A literature review, as I mentioned, may seem very daunting. It is a lot of work, but it's an important step to make sure that you understand what has already been studied in the past and to be able to help you define that research question and land yourself some time or resources or money to get the research done. So thank you, and I hope that this has been helpful to you.